Today we're covering 7th grade, Chapter 8, Lesson 6, Volume of Prisms. A prism is a three-dimensional figure with at least two parallel, congruent faces. Parallel means they don't touch, they're railroad tracks. Congruent means they are same size, same shape, and faces are the flat sides of a figure. So there's one face, and there's another one, and then there's one on the back. That's a three-dimensional figure. Today we'll only be talking about a rectangular prism and a triangular prism. So volume is the measure of space a 3D figure occupies. And this is our formula. Volume equals area of the base times the height, or volume equals length times width times height. When you were in elementary, they probably used just length times width times height, which works if it's a rectangular prism. However, for this shape, the triangular prism, that won't work. So we use a different formula. Area of the base times the height. Then it has to be a capital letter. So capital letter B means area of the base. So anytime in math that you see a capital letter, that means you're going to plug in a different formula. So every time for volume, we have to look at the shape of the base and plug in the formula for the shape of the base. So for example, this rectangle would be base times height, because the capital letter B stands for area of the base, and the area of a rectangle is base times height. And then we multiply it times the height of the prism. Let's try an example using the triangular prism. So again, we always start with the formula. Volume is area of the base times the height. And the shape of this base is a triangle. So I'm going to plug in 1/2 base times height, where the capital letter is. And then we're still going to multiply that times the height of the prism. Now we plug in the numbers. 1/2 times what's the base of the triangle times what's the height of the triangle. Remember, height goes at a right angle, so that's 2, times the height of the prism. And the height of the prism will always be from one triangle to the other, or from one base to the other. So the height of the prism is 4.2. That measurement right there. And then we just need to work it out. I'm going to put a 1 underneath that 2, because I noticed I could cancel the 2's. And then I'm just left with 3.5 times 4.2. Remember, you're working this out on your paper. And there's 1 decimal space there and 1 decimal space there, so that means in the answer I need to move it over 2 spaces. So this is equal to 14.7. I'm going to drop the last 0. And this is feet cubed, because volume is a measure of how many cubes will fit inside something. Now let's look at your worksheet, your guided practice and your independent practice. Yes, it's on two different sheets, not because you have more work, but because you have more room. I gave you a little bit more room to work out the problems. Okay, so we're on Chapter 8, Lesson 6, Guided Practice, and I'm going to skip number 1, and let's go to number 2. The dimensions of a triangular prism are shown below. What is the volume of the triangular prism in cubic centimeters? So it asks for volume. I need to write the formula. Area of the base times the height. And where the capital letter B is, I need to plug in the formula for that base. Well, that base is a triangle, so the formula for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. And then we still have to multiply times the height of the prism. Now I'm going to plug in the numbers. 1/2. Remember, this first part just has to do with the base. So I'm just looking at the base, the triangle. So the measurement, the base of the triangle is 6, and the height of the triangle is 4. And then that last h, the height, is the distance from one base to the other base. So how long is it? 16. Okay. And you can think of, half. I need to take half of a number. So half of 6 is 3 times 4 times 16. 3 times 4 is 12. And then 12 times 16. 192, and it's centimeters cubed. Number 3. The cargo carrying part of Billy's truck is a rectangular prism. It has a length of 8.3 meters and a width of 3 meters and a height of 4.2 meters. What is the maximum volume of sand that Billy's truck can carry? Okay, well, this is a rectangle. The volume formula is area of the base times the height. And since this is a rectangle, the formula I'm going to plug in is base times height, then times the height of the prism. So basically, I'm just multiplying all 3 numbers. I'm looking for all 3 numbers in the problem. So the volume is 104 and 58 hundredths, or 104.58 meters cubed. Let's look at the back of the paper. Question number 4. It says Leslie, Allie, and Haley have identical pencil boxes as shown in the picture. The edge length is 8 inches. The width is half the length, and the height is 1.5 inches. What is the combined volume of the 3 pencil boxes? Well, I can tell from the picture that the box is a rectangular prism. So the volume of a prism is area of the base times the height. And since it's a rectangle, I need to plug in the formula for a rectangle, which is base times height. So I want to multiply the base times the height of the prism. Basically, just multiplying all three numbers since it's a rectangle. So I see that the length is 8, and the height is 1.5, and the width is half the length. So if the length is 8, the width is 4. So we're going to be multiplying 8 times 4 times 1.5. 8 times 4 is 32 times 1.5, and you need to be sure to write this on your paper. So the volume of one pencil box is 48. However, it says the combined volume. So we need to multiply that times 3 to find out what it is for the combined volume. $144, and that's meters cubed. Let's look at number 5. A pencil holder shaped like a triangular prism is shown below. The height of the pencil holder is 6 inches. The volume is 54.6 cubic inches. What is the area of the base of the pencil holder in square inches? The problem's talking about volume, so I want to start with the formula for volume, which equals area of the base times the height. And it says the height of the pencil holder is 6, so I can plug in 6 right there. And it says the volume is 54.6, so I'm going to put that underneath the V. And what they're asking me for is area of the base. So they're asking me for the capital letter B. This isn't too difficult because we know how to solve an equation. If they're multiplying, we do the opposite, which is to divide by 6 on both sides. The 6 is canceled. The capital letter B comes down. And what is 54 divided by 6? $9.1. So the area of the base is 9.1 square inches. Number 6. A storage container is shaped like a rectangular prism. The volume of the container is 62.4 cubic feet. The area of the base of the container is 24 square feet. What is the height of the container in feet? So again, let's start with our map. The formula, volume, equals area of the base times the height. And this time they gave me the volume, which is 62.4. I put that underneath the V. And they gave me the 24 square feet. That's the area of the base, so that goes under the capital letter B. And we don't know the height. So just like the last one, we're going to use those equation skills and solve for H. So this is multiplication. We do the opposite, which is division. So we're going to divide 62.4 by 24. and I got 2.6 feet. Let's look at the independent practice. You're going to just calculate the volume. You don't have to write any equations today, although equations can help you work it. So remember, if it's a rectangle, you're probably just going to multiply the three numbers. And if it is a triangular prism, you're going to need to plug in the formula for the base. And the base is always on a triangular prism, a triangle. And the formula for a triangle is 1/2 base times height, times the height of the prism. The height of the prism is always going to be from one triangle to the other. So on number 3, you're also going to need to plug in the formula for area of the base, which is a triangle again. And the height is going to be, height of the prism is going to be the distance from one triangle to the other.